they have cans of soup. Soup. Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.
Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls. We like to troll. 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 We like to go the troll. We like to go the night before one of their primaries. We do a little trolling. Do a little troll. We do a little trolling. It's called we do a little trolling. Do a little troll. We do a little troll. We like to troll. To troll. Little trolling. Do a little trolling. Do a little trolling. It's called we do a little trolling. Bernie Sanders was very upset. Why would he be there? Why? Because I want to win. I want to win. Why? Because I want to win.
Unbelievable.
You will file articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden.
I admit to always improving.
I liked beer. I still like beer. But I did not drink beer to the point of blacking out. I liked beer. Liked beer. It's beer. I still like beer. It's beer. Beer.
I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
In case you don't know, and you haven't seen the latest polls, the American people hold the President of the United States in contempt. They hold this institution in contempt. They hold the Republican Party in contempt. They hold the Democratic Party in contempt. They think that maybe, given all of the crises facing this country, it's about time that there was some bold leadership here and that this institution made some hard choices. Who are you worried about? I'll tell you who I'm worried about. I'm worried about the fact that our workers are seeing a decline in their standard of living. They want to see our industry be rebuilt. That's what they want to see. No more B-2 bombers. No more Star Wars. Let's make the quality products we need. Let's invest in American industry. No, I won't yield.
Extra sharp. That's what I eat.
Watch him re-examine the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine in the membrane. Tim Kaine in the brain.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black shield, and they pulled out the votes. Those votes were...
Heard of Black Lives Matter. They were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No. And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installation of a YouTube podcast known as Above It Motherfucking All. I am here. I am way down here because the camera's not adjusted properly. I'm way down. I gotta get up. I'm now up. I'm further up. How's it going, folks? I'm alive. I am continuing to live. I'm also breathing. It's happening. I'm and then wait. All right. So that's what's going on here. So I'm living and I'm breathing, and those are fundamentally important things for the human experience. So I'm glad that I could be here to present to you these things that are, again, incredibly important to the human experience, of which I am. I am a human, and I am experiencing the human experience right now. So that's happening. Needless to say, I'm trying to get comfortable here. Let's see if I'm sitting on a pile of pillows. Swallowed that a little bit. You ever swallow something a little too hard, and then it's you feel like you swallowed too much air or something, and there's a pressure that goes down into your body, and then it's I'm gonna burst, and then you're fine. That's what just happened to me. I consumed that coffee, and then I felt like I was going to burst, I was about to explode. And fortunately that didn't happen. So it's a huge win, because I was expecting that to have happened, and it didn't. So I'm alive. Once again, I'm still here. And that's, I don't know what it is. But anyway, I'm consuming coffee, and water, aka seltzer. Right. I need coffee. I hope it doesn't make me burst. I hope so too. So folks, I need to issue an update. In fact, I'm going to turn my lamp on my desk. I'm going to turn it on, so now I'm super lit and I'm also really high, so I'm lit in multiple ways. But I've got like a really important update. Yesterday, I responded to criticism. That's what we do on this show, and by we, I mean me, because I am only one person and no one else works with me. I am by myself. So I respond to criticism on this show. I read comments from people. I love the comments. Leave me more comments. If you're watching this video, leave me a comment on this video. Go watch the last 15 videos I've done. Leave a comment on all of them. And then thumbs down if you want, because I don't care. But also you can thumbs up. Just do one of the two. If you don't like it, feel free to thumbs down. But I respond to criticism on the show. And yesterday, I highlighted an individual who has been leaving me some very interesting comments on my show. My show is called Above It All. And as I'm above it all, I'm going to be reading the comments. So this person, I guess, did not appreciate the video I made yesterday where I read their comments on stream and then discussed how I felt about them. And so they left me a lot more comments. They left me quite a large amount. So I present to you the part 2 of the saga. Again, I thought that this was copy pasta at first. I thought that this was like an actual troll. Because it's hard to tell. It really is hard to tell at this point. I was just expecting,
And we're getting crowds like this. Troll. We like to go the night before one of their primaries. We do a little trolling.
That's what I was expecting. I was expecting a little trolling, but it turns out this person is deadly serious. So let's read. I'm deep in conspiracy theories. While you claimed I'm secretly a mass shooter, ? Can you prove this claim in a court of law or a civil trial? Folks, now first of all, this is what happens when you have no sense of humor whatsoever, right? So in my video, I said the kind of person that actually believes these things is probably someone that would become a mass shooter. If you look at mass shooters, like specifically the El Paso shooter that happened a couple years ago, they specifically cited a lot of right-wing conspiracy theories, very much so like what D.B. Cooper is talking about, not to be confused with the historical figure D.B. Cooper, right? But again, these mass shooters have manifestos that have almost identical conspiracy theories that this person is espousing. Did I say that this commenter specifically is a mass shooter and he's going to kill me or something? That's not what I said. I said the archetype of the kind of person he is pretending to be, or either is, because he's also probably the stupid, is someone that would end up being like a mass shooter. So again, I'm not making any, first of all, I'm a funny person. I make jokes online for a living. So if you can't handle that, I suggest getting triggered somewhere else. That being said, yes, you do sound like a mass shooter. Sorry, I don't need to prove that in a court of law. You sound like a crazy person. That's not my fault. I worked my way up from real poverty into a moderately comfortable middle-class life, kid. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have gotten anywhere if I were really the crazed, guns-blazing meth head from West Virginia you claimed me to be. I never said anything about West Virginia. I never said anything about meth. Though the guns, I mean, hey, I said you sound like a mass shooter. And later on in this message, they said that they were in Iraq. So chances are they probably are a mass shooter. It's just that their mass shooting was legal. But, we'll see about that. I fought your wars for you. Hey, I didn't ask you to fight any dumb fuck wars. Imagine 9/11 happens, or whatever it is like that you went to war from. And you're like, oh, I'm going to go defend my country. You sound like an idiot. I'm sorry. Like, if you are fighting wars for me, you're a dumb fuck. There has not been a single war in my entire lifetime that I gave a shit about. If you died in that war, I wouldn't care. If you didn't go to war at all, I wouldn't care. I don't give a shit about your wars. You didn't fight any wars for me. You fought wars for your stupid ass fucking corporations and government that you worship so much. That's why you fought those wars, because you're stupid. But anyway, hey, let's keep going. I can even describe how much fun it was to boil in Iraq heat and worn equipment that weighed about what you do while in armored vehicles that never had working air conditioners. When I get home, What did I do? ? The most offensive anti-democratic thing ever. I got a job. Where understaffing was an issue to take advantage of the unlimited overtime budget, I re-enlisted as a part-timer to attend an aviation-related school too. I live better than my parents ever imagined. Somehow, that says crazed mass shooter or lazy or stupid to progressive America. So first of all, I didn't know anything about your stupidity going to Iraq. I didn't know anything about you getting a job because that's not what you wrote about. You did not write, oh, I went to Iraq and got a job, and therefore I believe. That's not what you wrote. So I could not be criticizing those things in your original comment if you didn't write them in your original comment, so I wouldn't know anything about them. Second of all, that has nothing to do with my criticism. My criticism is the fact that you literally believe that there are Democrats running through the streets, like shaking hands with cops and not getting prosecuted for crimes and burning down entire cities. That's what I'm criticizing because it sounds like you're a stupid person. You're crazy. You're a dumb fuck motherfucker. But let's continue. Who is really crazed or terrorist in nature when your worst nightmare are guys who pose for pictures in politicians' chairs at the Capitol or steal a podium. Yes, not the people that planted bombs, right? I'm not worried about them at all. The people that brought guns, who cares? The people that tried to kill members of Congress, I'm not concerned with them in any capacity. Who I'm really concerned about are the guys sitting in the chairs. That's my real concern because I'm a very serious person. Or steal a podium while being brilliant enough to pose for pictures with the stolen item. Meanwhile, your side of the fence is freely preaching an absolute protected right to looting, lynching, rioting, burning, and murdering! First of all, what is this fence and where does this fence reside? Is it like the Democratic Party that's the fence? Because I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm actually a smart person. I'm going forward, motherfucker. Think about it. Look at this. Not left, or not, yeah, this is, this is mirrored. Not right, not left, but forward. That's where I'm going. But anyway, so again, they actually believe this. They genuinely believe that Democrats are rioting, looting, lynching, and burning things and murdering people. They literally think that Democrat voters are running through the streets, murdering people, lynching people, looting and burn. They actually. That's the conspiratorial nature. You actually have concocted a world in your own brain where people that you disagree with online are actually serial killers and murderers working with the government to kill you or something. It has nothing to do with you going to Iraq or being a meth head. That's not what makes you sound like a mass shooter. It's that shit. But let's continue. Just being accused of standing outside a building at the Capitol with a sign, warrants kicked indoors, federal agents terrorizing your children with submachine guns, bankruptcy thanks to drawn-out criminal proceedings and actual maximum security prison terms. Now again, what? Now, let's look at the situation. There is a case in Florida where an anarchist left-wing activist said on Facebook, they wrote words on Facebook and they went to jail for it. But wait, so they wrote on Facebook, if these people are going to be attacking the Capitol, we should arm ourselves and prepare to defend ourselves. That's it. That's what they wrote on Facebook. And they got 6 years in jail for a Facebook post. So, meanwhile, can you name anyone that's been arrested at the Capitol that got any more than 5 years in jail? Can you give me one person? Can't do it because you live in a fantasy world. So you can't be serious when you claim to be anything but entitled royalty, when so many others exactly like you were so free to commit actual acts of violent domestic terrorism right in front of cops who never wanted to make any arrests. There are thousands of available videos of violent progressive Democrat kids setting a new bar for domestic terrorism while police just spectated. Again, do I even need to refute that at all? Is it necessary for me in any capacity to even just pretend that that's anything more than just stupid, dumb fuck garbage? But let's go on. This happened because there are 2 constitutions and 2 justice systems in America. One is not even remotely similar to the other. While someone like you can take part in a lynch mob against a suspected class enemy 10 feet in front of a cop wearing cheerleaders, the acts nobody else in your country can get away with, even protesting President Huggies peacefully. Again, is there anything I can say that would possibly bring this person out of their conspiracy world? No. They are literally living, drenched, steeped in fantasy. And they left me a lot of other comments, but I don't want to spend 30 minutes on this. They did not enjoy my video about this yesterday. So if you want to see the rest of the stupid crap that they wrote, feel free to go look at the previous video from yesterday and go check them out. But I mean, again, this is absolutely how deranged at least 30% of the United States population is. There have been polls done. 35% of voters think that the 2020 election was stolen. I guarantee you this dumb motherfucker thinks the same, right? These people literally, again, look at that thing that happened with Charlie Kirk, where one of his fanboys was like, when can we start killing Democrats? They actually, genuinely think that Democrats, not just random motherfuckers, but they think anyone who does any crime ever is a Democrat. Huh? And that somehow their crime has to do with them being a Democrat. What? Right. But they genuinely think Democrats are running through the streets, mass murdering people, while the cops are working with them and giving them high five. They actually think that. There's no evidence for that. If I asked them for the videos, they would not be able to produce them. You know what I mean? They're actually that ridiculous. And there is nothing you can say to ever pull them out. They're going to need to have some, actual experience in their lives for them to break out of this kind of cult mentality. This is what you call a TFG. Too far gone. These motherfuckers are they're not even speaking the same language. It's like trying to have an in-depth conversation about philosophy with someone who speaks a completely different language to you. You just can't do it. You just cannot do it. We don't share enough common language. The worlds we live in are entirely different. I live in the real world. I read the news on a daily basis. They live in right-wing fantasy land, where Democrats run through the streets setting their homes on fire and that they're boiling in the heat in Iraq or something. They live in a fantasy land, and there's nothing you can do to convince them otherwise. It's the same thing with religion. You cannot convince a religious person with logic that their religion is ridiculous. These people are religious. And their religion, their God is the orange man, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Lord have mercy. I mean, again, what the fuck? Yeah, the dark theme is way better. Absolutely. I mean, again, this is who we're dealing with. These are right-wingers. I need you to, anything that anyone else tries to tell you about right-wingers and Trump voters, I'm not listening to it, because that's what this guy is. Right? So when you see all those people, we got to work with the Boogaloo Boys, don't work. No, I'm not working with anyone who believes in this kind of world. I'm just not gonna. I'm sorry. It's not happening. Ooh. So this is a clip that came out a week ago or so. That I hadn't covered yet because I'm stupid. But we're gonna cover it now. And so I wanted to talk about, there was an undercover interview with Eastman, the Trump lawyer who wrote out the bullshit, the memo that said that, Mike Pence could overturn the election. Someone pretended to be a fan and asked them some very interesting questions. And this is a multi-part, clip posting on Twitter. And I'm going to play the first couple, and you can watch the second couple if you'd like. But there's a lot of interesting information here that's come out. So, of course, Eastman has been on a cringe tour basically saying, oh, it's just a suggestion. I was just writing whatever like they wanted to hear. I'm not actually, But this is when you pretend to be a fan and you don't, show them that they're being recorded. They're going to say a lot of weird stuff behind closed doors. So let's listen.
We're huge Trump supporters, and we were actually at January 6th.
Oh, yeah.
We saw your speech.
Did I incite you to go down to the Capitol and riot?
You actually incited us to become supporters of Claremont.
Oh, good. Very good.
Because, the work that you're doing is just so critical to saving our democracy.
Thank you.
We couldn't not support your work after that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you.
So thank you. You're really doing the Lord's work.
Well, and that's my old, you heard me say it. My old professor said, if you're not catching incoming flack, you're not over the target. And my God, I must be directly over it. Because I don't think there's anybody who catches as much incoming flack.
Literally, no one takes as much flack as fucking John Eastman, the guy that almost no one knows exists. Like, imagine going, like, around the side, like, hey, you heard about the Eastman memo? They're gonna go, what? Because our media fucking sucks, and they covered up the story. Right? So again, no one knows who this guy is, except for these weirdos like me that actually care about the downfall and collapse of the U.S. empire and are interested to see how it goes. It's most likely going to be a fascist takeover of government. Spoiler alert, 5 years. 10 years, absolute maximum. We're going to be living in Nazi motherfucking America. That being said, let's continue.
Maybe than other than Trump himself that I have over the last 6 months. I mean, it's amazing.
Well, but I read your memo, and I thought it was solid in all of its legal arguments.
Yeah.
And I was floored that Mike Pence didn't do anything. I mean, why didn't he act on it? Because you gave him the legal reasoning to do that.
I know. Now in a piece in the Atlantic 2 days ago, they're already anticipating Trump winning in 2024, and they're using my arguments from that memo that they all said had no credibility to argue that Kamala Harris can block Trump's electoral votes. I mean, it's like, it's like...
So, again, one person writes something probably as a joke in an article, and now this guy is like, see? They! Did you know that they are discussing using the Kamala Harris method? What?
I mean, come on, people, you can't...
So basically everyone's going to say, you're being proven right.
Yeah, exactly, except they're not saying that, right?
But that's what they mean.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
All of your legal reasoning is totally solid.
Yeah, there's no...
So again, this is the big one, this one. So she's basically trolling the shit out of him. It's called We Do a Little Trolling, right? Like, that's what she's doing. I love this clip. I'm sorry, I'm going to play it again. But again, like, this is what's happening.
We're getting crowds right before one of their primaries. We do a little trolling. It's called We Do a Little Trolling.
That's what she's doing. She's trolling the hell out of him. And basically got him to admit that, the coup memo was not a joke. He's been saying publicly it was kind of like just, you write whatever you want, to do the job. Now, in this clip, he's like, no. Yeah, no, it was completely accurate. Yeah, I meant that. Everything I wrote there, completely legal. I'm sorry about that. There's no question. It's 100% legal to just overturn an election. All right, well.
No question, but
I mean, just supporter to supporter, why do you think that Mike Pence didn't do it?
Well, because Mike Pence is an establishment guy at the end of the day. And all of the establishment Republicans in D.C. bought into this very myopic view that Trump was destroying the Republican Party. And what Trump was doing is destroying the inside the Beltway Republican Party and reviving the...
So, this is actually another important, part here. Is that this is very true what he's about to say, so check this out.
Republican Party in the hinterland, right? What they all consider to be, deplorable flyover country. And this uprising that Trump got ahead of, he didn't create the movement. The movement was there, and he saw it and got ahead of it.
And that's the important thing to understand. Right-wingers in this country have been dumb as fuck since the literal inception of this country. The right wing, literally, they wrote the Constitution and made up a bunch of rules and then said, all right, but we're going to have slaves. So again, they made a country about like freedom, liberty, and prosperity, and all the happiness. You pursuing happiness is a God-given right. And they had slaves. They owned other human beings as property. Like again, literally, from the very get-go, the right in this country has been batshit fucking insane, right? So when you factor that in, like, and then there was like a big civil rights era, right? And a lot of gains were made, but then the right wing was like, what the fuck, man? We can't own people anymore. Let's kill them. Like, look at the fucking, like, Tulsa massacre, that kind of stuff. Look at, there's also, parts in history in North Carolina where the Ku Klux Klan and right-wing, mobs literally massacred black members of city councils and overtook government. Actual coup d'etats in North Carolina and cities. Is that taught in history class? No. Right. And then they basically just overtook the education system. Like, look at Ronald Reagan's presidency. Right, look at Richard Nixon's presidencies. These are like the founding of the current right-wing movement. They fucked everything up, man. I'm just telling you. They planted the seeds that are now sprouting up right here, right? When you get a bunch of angry, asshole, doofus motherfuckers and you lie to them for generations, because that's the project. They've been lying to them for generations. They live in a fantasy world. So when you get an entire good section of the population, a couple, dozen, maybe 3 or 4 dozen million people that literally will believe anything you tell them, all you need to do is recognize where the wind is going, put up the sail, right? And then you can steer that ship in any direction you want. And that's what Donald Trump has been doing.
But no, they can't tolerate that because they all have nice, cushy livings inside the Beltway.
So, and there's a part 2. There's more parts here, but part 1 and 2, I think, are the most interesting.
Do you think if Trump came down, on the 6th, would it change things? Change calculus a little bit?
If he came down?
Yeah, he said he was coming down. But he didn't.
Oh, down to the Capitol? Yeah, I don't know. Because the breaking of the windows stuff had already started before his speech was over. And if he got down there, then all of that would have been blamed on him. I mean, they're still blaming it him, but they would have had more basis for it.
But he'd been planning on coming down, though.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, the whole thing was a setup. I mean, it was a setup.
Wait. What was the setup? Like, okay, so what? Who set up who? What's going on here?
John Sullivan, Antifa guy, got paid $60,000 by CNN to break in and get video of violence. Right?
It's just a fact. Whatever. Facts don't care about your feelings, bro.
This is a fact. The Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys had not just kind of wallflowers sitting on the side of the organization, but people instigating within the association, FBI plants. It was a setup, and unfortunately, our guys walked into the trap.
But so he would have gone.
Okay, so again, this is my favorite. I love setup theory. Like, the January 6th was a setup theory is so good. Right, so a couple FBI plants, 1 or 2 Antifas, and then we can just convince the herds of cattle to just storm through. Like, literally, the setup theory is my favorite. It's an absolute banger of a political hypothesis, right? So again, our guys, thousands and thousands of our guys, are so dumb as fuck that like a couple FBI plants and an Antifa or 2 can convince them to try to kill the vice president and overthrow Congress. I love it. It's great.
Down there if it hadn't been for the violence.
Yeah.
Like he decided not to go because people were engaging in violence and breaking stuff.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want that.
Right. No, and he immediately tweeted out what he said on his speech. Go down there peacefully and patriotically and then let your voices be heard. Right? That's what he said.
So again, you can watch more of this on their Twitter account at Lauren Windsor. Incredible video, I have to say. So definitely go follow that person. But again, you need to understand, these are like the leaders now. These are the people that are like, again, they're trying their best to read the room, and they're going to read that room and try to take up as much power as they can. And they don't give a fuck about the concept. They don't give a fuck about morals. They don't give a fuck about ethics. They don't give a fuck about what's fair. They just want power at any point and possibility. They're going to just take it. And you need to understand, we're not dealing with rational motherfuckers. We're not dealing with, oh yeah, well, let's sit down and have a conversation over a nice cup of coffee and a biscuit or something. That's not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with dipshit, cocksucker, motherfucker, dumb fuck motherfuckers. And there is no amount of logic, no amounts of reasoning that you can provide to get these people out of it. They're drinking the goddamn Kool-Aid, and I wish the Kool-Aid would kick in a little bit faster. That's my opinion. But hey, I'm just throwing that out there. Trump's reinstatement begins today in Dallas. Oh my God. By the way, Mila, I gotta reach out to your friend. I'm gonna see if I can get them on later this week. I would love to do that. Speaking of Dallas. All right. All right. So yesterday, assuming I did the math right. In fact, I'm going to double check my math. I'm going to double check the math. Apparently, according to reports, yesterday was day 196 of protests in the city of Elizabeth City, North Carolina, over the police shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. that took place on April 21st, 2021. Assuming I remember the amount of days correctly, I think it was 196. It could be 195. I'm not sure. It's been a long time, folks. It's been a long time. And so, again, we did another demonstration through the downtown Elizabeth City area. Again, one of the benefits of living in Elizabeth City for protests is that Elizabeth City is really small. So you can hit a very good chunk of the population in a very short amount of time in a very small amount of area. And so we went through downtown Elizabeth City yesterday on November 1st. And again, it was overall a pretty decent demonstration. We had some people chant with us as we passed them. And all in all, we had people follow us as well, join in the crowd. It's all really good stuff. You know, I don't know what else to say on this. I mean, I kind of just rehash the same material every single day I do this. But again, I think it's extremely important that people continue to do what they're doing here, because once people just it go like I would say 100% of the population of Elizabeth City know what's going on with Andrew Brown Jr. Now, again, they might think that it was justified because they're crazy fucking psycho motherfuckers. That's possible. But I would say that these protests have brought awareness to 100%. I would be shocked. Like, if anyone in Elizabeth City didn't know what was going on, or that there was a high-profile police shooting, I would be shocked. And that's what these protests do, is especially even people that come to visit Elizabeth City. They'll come here, and then they'll see, oh, what's going on here? They'll look it up. And, and so that's really the number one thing, is raising the awareness. So, again, yesterday was day 195 or 6. I honestly, I don't remember. So, but I'll figure it out, and I'll get the exact, I'll figure that out in the title, I think. But anyway, there you go. Another solid day of movement. Any plans? I don't know. I do not know. Maxie! Max! Let's get this dog on screen. Maxie, come on up here, bud. So we got a goddamn dog. Come on, Maxie. Put your paws up, buddy. Whoop. So, folks, this is Max the dog. This is really the number one thing that keeps me sane in my life. Without this dog, I don't know where I'd be right now. So, I love Max the dog. I want to give a shout out to Max the goddamn dog. Probably the greatest collection of biological material that I've ever seen in my life. A beautiful angel, a lovely woofer, and a God bless. I mean, really, I don't believe in God, but like, I'm God bless anyway. Look at this dog. Really, I mean, like, how could you not look at this dog? Hi. Got Max the goddamn dog. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, really, what else do you need to know? Like, this is ideal for me right now. So I'm just gonna let this moment last as long as possible. I don't know why he's licking my hand so much. But it's happening. This is Max the goddamn dog. Folks, if you don't want to give me money on Cash App, Patreon, or PayPal, I would suggest considering giving money to Max the dog, because it's toy season. That's right, it's a new month. And so he's going to need to get some more toys pretty soon here. So if you want to give money to the toy fund for Max, feel free to do so. Hello. I need my arm. Look, look at this. I need it. I need it. All right, folks, I'm going to have to do the show with one hand as it is aware. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. Max was just shocked when I walked through the door. He was like, huh? 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 All right, so let's see. I think I got some more shit to talk about. Oh yeah, let's talk about this in regards to January 6th, because this is a banger. Alright, folks, so January 6th. Remember January 6th? I do. It was kind of bizarre. It was wild to watch that happen. But, you know what else was wild? That while January 6th was on the calendar, and it was the 6th of January, there were a bunch of crazy motherfuckers storming the Capitol, and a certain Republican senator had a lot to say. Lindsey Graham told police to use their guns against January 6th rioters, quote, take back the Senate. Graham told Capitol Police on January 6th, we give you guns for a reason. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham urged Capitol Police to use their guns and regain control of the Capitol on January 6th, a new report details. What are you doing? Take back the Senate. You've got guns. Use them, Graham told Capitol Police, according to an extensive report from the Washington Post, which described Graham as irate that senators were forced to leave their chambers during the storming of the Capitol. We give you guns for a reason, he said. Use them! The Washington Post stated the quotes were based on an unnamed Republican senator with knowledge of the incident. I mean, that's just hilarious. That's just hilarious. I mean, I'm sorry. Graham's office confirmed the quotes are accurate in a statement to Fox News on Monday. He's not even denying it. Yeah, I said it. Graham was quite clear on this point, noting that the backpacks and other items brought into the Capitol could have contained bombs and explosives. The damage could have been much, much worse. Graham's communications director, Kevin Bishop, said Graham also called Ivanka Trump former President Orange Man's oldest daughter multiple times and gave suggestions on what the then president should say, according to the report. "You need to get these people out of here," he reportedly told her. "This thing is going south. This is not good. You're going to have to tell these people to stand down, stand down." Graham has also slammed the storming of the Capitol, saying on January 7th that warning shots and lethal force should have been used once they penetrated the seat of government. Damn. But again, what is this guy? He's a Republican. He took advantage of this brewing, wild, conspiratorial, fantasy movement that was pro-gun and pro-violence, and he was right on board. He was riding that gravy train right up until he was the one that fell off the train and into the tracks. All of a sudden, you want the train to stop. All of a sudden. Notice that. Once his safety is threatened, all of the things he pretended to believe for years, for decades, all of the things he pretended to think for decades, flipped. Once he was potentially in the final moments of his life, he's like, "I take it all back." It's like those conservative radio hosts who are on their deathbed, like, "I wish I took the vaccine." But wait, he didn't die. He's actually able to continue living, Lindsey Graham. And now, he has to deal with saying things that so now he's dealing with this one. He also pointed to rioting at the courthouse in Portland, Oregon in 2020, saying violence gets worse if such behavior is not addressed, blah, blah, blah. So there you go, folks. Lindsey Graham wanted to not make Ashley Babbitt an example of martyrdom, but to make Ashley Babbitt an example, not even just literally an example, because he wanted the Capitol Police to just mow all those motherfuckers down, holes in Swiss cheese. I mean, again, that's incredible. That's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, again, the Republican Party they're so paper thin in their beliefs. Once shit goes to the wall, they're the first ones that are going to say, "Never mind, I take it back. A psych. Ha ha ha, I was just kidding." Because they don't actually believe this shit. They don't. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think she actually believes this shit. But these classical Republicans, the ones that have been in office for more than 5 to 10 years, they don't believe any of this shit. They're just fucking joking around on television for votes. They don't care. They're playing cartoon characters. It's like acting to them. They don't give a fuck. And I love when that gets exposed. What guarantees do we have that you won't spend it on crypto? I don't need to spend money on crypto because I already have money on crypto. So, I had to rehome my dog a few years ago. I have 2 cats now, but solidarity. I like dogs. Dogs are pretty cool. I'm a dog fan, folks. What can I say? All right. So, earlier in the show, I was talking about how right-wing conspiracy theorists who like to leave comments on my videos somehow were under the impression police are pro-left-wing and pro-Antifa. Somehow they think that. And that during 2020, police would just ignore left-wing crimes and only go after right-wingers. Now, that's obviously not true. And here's another example of that. In 2020, that being exactly the opposite scenario. Texas cops laughed as Biden aides pleaded for help from trucker Trump train last year. Texas police officers, quote, laughed and joked as desperate Joe Biden campaign aides pleaded for protection from a Trump train of cars and trucks swarming and even colliding with the campaign caravan on a freeway last year, according to an amended lawsuit on Friday. Text messages and recordings and transcripts of several calls to the San Marcos Police Department captured at least one official's joking, flat-out denial of help when contacted by 911 dispatcher. So who are you going to call when you're in danger and go and defund the police? Who are you going to call? Imagine. Right? Someone's breaking into your house and you call 911 and they're like, eh. I mean, let's be honest. By the time we get there, you'll probably be dead and they'll be gone anyway. So fuck it. Well, maybe we'll think about it later. Don't really care. But who you gonna call? Who you gonna call? That's all I got. When you say maybe we should defund the police because they seem to not be doing too much with all their money and maybe that money should go into infrastructure or something. When you say that, right-wingers are like, who you gonna call when the murder? You're gonna get murdered. You're gonna call 911 after you get murdered? What? Right? So, again, that fantasy world where cops stop crimes and act like that never happens. Right? Usually, cops, usually their main role is to show up after the crime's been committed and then do nothing about it. That's their main job. They don't normally stop crime as it's happening, and this is another example of that happening. We're not going to do it, said a San Marcos police corporal. The Texas Tribune first reported, we're not going to escort a bus. He quipped that the Biden bus should drive defensively and it'll be great. When a 911 dispatcher told a campaign aide to call back if they felt threatened, the staffer responded, are you kidding me, ma'am? They've threatened my life on multiple occasions with vehicular collision, and again asked for an escort along the freeway in south central Texas. Despite the pleas for help, there were no officers from San Marcos or any other police cars in sight during the dangerous 90-minute highway confrontation, the suit stated. The Biden bus and accompanying cars were chased by the train on a high-speed highway as they headed to a campaign event a year ago. In one collision, a Biden campaign car was videotaped being forced out of a lane by a pro-Trump trucker as surrounding vehicles were traveling at 70 miles per hour. A man who identified himself as the driver in that crash boasted about, quote, slamming that fucker on Facebook. So, the lawsuit filed by campaign workers and former Democratic State Senator Wendy Davis, who was on the bus, accused the San Marcos Police Department and city of failing to protect the campaign caravan despite repeated calls for help. But guess what? There's more. It also accuses officials of violating the federal Anti-Ku Klux Klan Act, which prohibits threatening or intimidating voters. They're charging the cops with the Anti-KKK Act, implying that the cops are acting on the benefacting, or acting to benefit, to benefit the Ku Klux Klan. That's what they're charging them with. And it's accurate. Of course. They literally were being, driven off the road by actual Klansmen, and the cops were like, my cousin Jeffrey's in the car right on the left. He says nothing's wrong, so whatever. Huh? Folks, I mean, what are we doing here? Are we just going to watch this all happen and just go damn, that's some good TV? Is anyone going to, vote for anyone that's not a shit-fuck Democrat? And again, these are Democrats. They hate Democrats. Democrats are the most pathetic, spineless, pansy, loser motherfuckers on the planet. Look at what's going on with the reconciliation package. Democrats are spineless. They don't give a shit about anything. And the Republicans still hate them. Maybe the Democrats should get their shit together and join the side of left-wingers who actually care about this fucking planet. Because again, Democrats have control of all three branches of government. Are they going to do anything? Nah. They just 3x'd police funding. Oops. You'd think after 2020 and this incident, the Democrats would maybe rethink police funding. Nah, tripled. I don't even, again, this is the hell world. We're all dealing with the hell world right now, and it's not good. Lord have mercy. Anyway, folks, that is seemingly the show. Actually, just kidding. I have one more thing I wanted to talk about, right? How could I forget? Because this one's good. I got one more, and then it's the show. But this one's good. All right. You're going to love this. If you don't love this, you're probably a Democrat. So watch this shit. It's incredible.
We'd be surprised that after years of being told that they are the problem, that their manhood is the problem, more and more men are withdrawing into the enclave of idleness and pornography and video games. I found the comment by one young man to a Wall Street Journal reporter particularly evocative and particularly heartbreaking. He said, "I'm sort of waiting for a light to come on so I can figure out what to do next." Can we be surprised?
You heard it here first, folks. Republicans are losing, and men are becoming women because of video games and pornography. That's right, folks. Josh Hawley really with his finger on the pulse. Again, this guy is somehow still a senator after giving aid and comfort to those engaging in an insurrection, which violated the 14th Amendment, Section 3, which says that if you do those things, you are banned from ever holding office now and forever. Somehow he's still a senator. Explain that one to me. But now he is going out there saying that porn and video games, that's what's ruining men in America. Do I even need to... Is there anything else I need? Anything else I need to say? No? Because this is really funny. So that's all I had to say on that one. I mean, again, there's no commentary. Oh, Josh Hawley's a son of a gun. Like, what else do you need me to say? I mean, this is parody in itself. You don't need anything else. But goddamn. So that's the world that we're living in, folks. We're living in a world, and it's not a good world. It's not a good world. It's a really bad world, actually. Oh no. That tweet you linked me is... Maybe I'll get into it tomorrow, though. Because there's a lot to unpack there. But yeah, this world sucks. Fuck this world. I wish I lived in the right-wing conspiracy world, honestly. Like, I wish I lived in the world where Democrats ran through the streets setting everything on fire, because that sounds fun. That sounds a lot more fun than what this shit is. I mean, let's be real. Oh my god, 4 Seasons landscaping. That was so good. Fuck me. That was such a good moment. Oh, that was like a week before the election, though. Yeah, I wish I lived in the world where I'm in an ivory tower. Except I don't, because ivory is made from elephants, and elephants don't deserve to be killed for the sake of a tower. But there is no Hinkle update. They haven't responded to my DM, so... If you want a Jackson Hinkle update, send the motherfucker tweets. Ask him when he does his streams, when he's going to debate me, and we'll see if he, responds. But, just feel free to send the motherfucker some shit. Anyway, folks, that's the show. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'm going to be streaming more Castlevania at 6:15 p.m. So, 6:15 p.m. Yesterday I did 6:30, so 15 minutes earlier. I want to do it when I get home, and so I timed it. I can get home, take a shower, and I'm good to go. And so maybe we'll talk about the Virginia election, depending on how that goes. We'll see. I'm going to see if I'll beat the game tonight. I'm not sure. We'll find out. I'll find out. You might find out. We'll see. And after I play Castlevania, after I finish it, the next game I will play is Silent Hill 2. And the next game after that will be Dead Space. And the next game after that will be Resident Evil 8. That's the order I've decided on doing. So, yes, I got the new Resident Evil game, and I will be playing it. So, you know, I haven't played it before. All the other games that I play, usually I've played before. Resident Evil 8 will be a goddamn brand-ass new experience, so. But yeah, so that's going to be the Spook 5 Killer round out. I'll play Thatcher Doom at some other point. Anyway, bye-bye. It's all over. Bye-bye. 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 It's done. It's done. Bye-bye.
Come on. Don't be a bitch. My other debate flaked out on me today. I was supposed to... What? Actually, sorry, she did not flake out on me. She did not flake out on me. She did not flake out on me. I flaked out on her because flaked out on... I flaked out on her because I said I can't do it later.
Say something I've had in mind. Originally, the idea came up of me debating somebody else on this topic, and nothing ended up happening. But yeah, this actually.
Everybody comes in, your grandmother, your father, your mother, your brother, your cousins. They come in so easily, so crazy. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I try to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Running against the worst candidate in the history of presidential politics puts pressure on me. Could you imagine if I lose my whole life? What am I going to do? I'm going to say, I lost to the worst candidate in the history of politics. I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country. I don't know.